The air, my friends, is changing. The reason I'm doing this is because of Monsanto's. You know what's so funny about Monsanto's and Anonymous is that Anonymous hacks Monsanto's. Monsanto's reports it to the legal authorities, and the legal authorities says we must. Let me read it off the page what it exactly says, okay? It says over here, the company has turned information on the attacks over to the appropriate authorities and remains vigilant in protecting our information system. In protecting our information system. The authorities say it is vigilant to protect the information system, yet SOPA, okay, completely goes right against what this guy says. This is one complete lie. It's only the government that it counts for. Nobody else. Protect your mail. Don't you know when we get the mail? Don't you know when we get the mail? Okay, it's illegal and you can go to jail for opening up somebody else's mail. Well, SOPA is the same thing. Okay, it's not fair. It's just not fair. What are they checking? No one's coming. Listen, if somebody wanted to blow us up and take us over, okay, you wouldn't see just one bomb come across. They would come over. But why is any? Have you ever heard of anybody really seriously? Think in your mind. The only reason somebody wants to attack is because you take something away from them. I never want to attack anybody. I'm a good boy. I am a good boy, but let me tell you one thing, okay? If I have to revert my mission, okay, on the good side and attack, you see the good side's allowed to attack, but the bad side's not. Because the good side is usually only a retaliation to put the formation back into its own distinction so that each element in life lies properly where it should be and not where man wants to put it to be. Listen, this is the way I see it, okay? Is if we were all homosexuals, this world would have ended thousands of years ago. Period. Reason one, why God don't want that. But God is not against homosexuals. God couldn't care less who you have sex with. All he wants you to do is make babies in love. Babies in love make communication. Okay? No babies in love, okay, eventually break the communication. So you can have sex with whoever you want. Listen, I want to have sex with a nice-looking girl. Not only nice looking, but I want her to be nice in her mind. So what's the difference if she's nice in her mind or he likes him, nice in his mind? What's the difference, him, her? You know, H-I-M, H-E-R, H-er, H-M. You see, when God came about, this is the way God said it, okay? When he says him, he takes away the H because he doesn't pronounce it in French, and then it finishes off with I am, which means I am. That's what God's saying. I'm a male, and I am. But when it comes to her or because it's French again, it's E-R, H-E-R, not pronouncing the H, it's E-R, which is actually the letter R in the English alphabet and stating for the A angel. One is the E angel, and one is the A angel. Okay, an R is an A angel. In French, they call the M the E angel. And they call the R the E angel because they're upside down. We're the opposite to them. There are A angel where they're E angel. There are E angel where they're A angel. You know, 4-4, 4-6, 6-4, whichever way you want to go about to do it. Okay, that's what it's all about. Okay, I don't care who you have sex with. But you know what? If you see somebody interesting, don't be afraid to pick a conversation, because conversations in today's age are going to talk about, oh my God, from war in America to fighting in Syria, up to Russia coming out with China. Will there be a third world war? The Mayan calendar of 25,000 ends in December. The new sun has come out, Nibiru. The X-planet has come out to be. NASA is being silent about things that other people say. What's happening in Antarctica at the New Myers station? New guys out there like 32 degrees of insanity picking up some really good hot spots. And this real good news guy who I really like because he's enthusiastic, I don't remember his name, I'm sorry all about it. But everything comes to be, and everything will be. It'll be like it'll be. And like you always know, and like you always say, when the game of pool is over, okay, the white ball always remains solid. And you are a man. Either the stripe won the solid, or the solid won the 8 ball. You see, when a solid wins the 8-ball, you see, in pool, nobody really loses. It's because when the solid wins, it wins the heaven of the 8, right? Which is exactly what life is all about. And when the stripes win, it's almost like saying, man, okay, has beaten the heavens. So that means that if man can beat the 8-ball, okay, beat the heavens, means we can learn where we came from. Because it tells you in pool, the 8-ball is the in-between. It's not the 9 birth. It's not the 7 God. It's not the 7th gate. Everything 7, 8, 9 are like, don't exist. The only reason 9 exists is because the creation of the birth of man creates the 9. The one spirit of the 7th gate creates the 8. The difference between two numbers on your telephone, on your calculator, on a straight note, which means, you notice on a straight note we never start at 0, because the minute you touch a key, that key is automatically 1. Okay? When you get to the 9th key, after the 9th key, the next one would be 0. So the 10 goes there, because either you can count it as the totality 10 of the 1 to 9, okay, but when you count the totality 10 of the 1 to 9, you're actually counting what's inside the egg. The 1 means 1 up. You know when you play Dr. Mario, it goes 1 up. Well, it's almost like that, another lifeline. Anyways, I'm just going to show you some weird stuff, and then we're going to get off this, okay? Weird things to understand. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I want to get a pen out here, see if I can. 24 hours a day. 24 hours a day, X, G. Total, 31. 3 creation of 1, 31 days in a month. 31 days in a month. Take the 7th gate with the 24 hours, XG. When you put them together, it builds this, okay? If you take a look in here, okay, take a look at this letter. There's a G inside a G. There's a triangle. And what you have to do is do it this way. And what you see here, okay, is in the 7th position over here on the G. On the X, it would be the 1 position, would be the 1 spirit connects to the 7th gate. And it goes right to the center, this shape, and you get the passage right here. X-man here is holding up side 1. Take a look at it. It's a B, okay? It's a B. X is holding up B, L, beta, life. It's holding it up because that's where men is. The X is like, how can I say this? Just give me a second. I want to write it down. I didn't think of this before. And I just want to show you one more thing. I think if I can get it in there. Pretty stupid. I'm right in front of my camera and I can't find it. Something here, 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 here. Here, you see the X? There's a 1 on the left side and a 1 on the right side, because that's the way the G is. We're talking about east-west. First of all, you know when you're building something, first you build one way, then the other way. Well, we're constructing now, talking about the east-west wing, 1 and 1. In reality, it's really the 1 left, meaning 1, 4, and 7 on the left, versus 3, 6, 9 in the beta world. Because if you put this on your telephone, where is it? If you put this on your telephone, this side is 1, 4, 7. This side would be 1, 2, 3, and this side 3, 6, 9. The only one that doesn't count is the 8 over here. But it's made up with the triangle. 8, 5, 7 are connected. 8 and 5 is 13, and 7 is 20, the beta world. Anyways, it's really hard to understand. And another thing is that this would also say, okay, you understand? See this, just this bar here? This bar says 10,000. Why? Because when you put a bar over an X, it's 10,000. Now, there was one other thing I was thinking. You know, if you put a rabbit and cat together, what would you get? R-A and C-A, you'd get a racket. Rabbit and a cat makes a racket. So I'm starting to put together the Chinese astrology with the combination of animals. You got to put the animal names together. Also, how many babies they can have at one time, how long their pregnancy is, and let's say you have a dog and a cat, D-O-G-C-A-T, you have to make something out of those 2 words. When you put them together, it totals 50. 5-0, the passage. How do I know it's the passage? Even the Canadians, okay, in Canada, put the $50 bill red, okay, and he's a little shaded on top, not much hair, okay. Much wisdom goes through the passage, my friend. Do you believe? Do you believe? Do you believe? Trying to see what else there is in here before I give it up. Oh boy. I did that thing with the 24 hours a day yesterday because it's not a long video. This is the number of hours. Where is it? Oh my God, I can't find it. Here is it. 4,992 hours. That's how many hours we are awake in a year. Okay, the rest were sleeping. So if we worked at minimum wage of all these hours, we'd make $50,000. And all you'd be doing is going to work, and it's all work, complete work. The maximum you can make in your life in a 1 year is $49.92. Okay, 96 hours, 4,992 hours a year you're awake. The maximum you can make is $50,000. Now let me bring the camera up to my face before we end this. Okay, I don't know why it's so close. So doesn't that seem funny? Listen to this crazy calculation. $50,000. Now let's say you want to buy a car, a boat, and a house. Not much. $20,000 for a boat, $30,000 for a car. But the difference between the car and the boat is that in 4 years, that car is going to have a lot of money to be put in it, a lot more gas in the boat. The boat may bring you that pleasure in 20 grand, but you spend a whole lot more, okay? In a lifetime of a boat, in a lifetime of a car, okay, it's like driving a Mercedes on the lake. That's how big a difference it is. It's almost like driving a Ferrari on the lake. How much money have you spent in the last 10 years on cars? Okay? Don't look at me, I'm cheap. So if you can be awake for 5,000 hours a year because the rest of you are sleeping, unless you don't sleep, and I'm not even talking about eating. I'm just talking about plain ordinary being awake 16 hours a day. And somebody tell me you don't average that, please. That's what we average. Why? Because it's in numerology, and I had the dream. That number that I just gave you, 4992, okay, if you reverse it and do numerology on it, it comes out to 613, 613 laws of Moses. I can tie anything up, I think, I hope, I wish, I want. I want to show what I can do, so maybe somebody can use me to help them do something so that we can advance. Evolution, my friends, that doesn't cost a penny out of the mind, out of the mind. It costs a lot of money out of the mind, but it still is. So, now the question was, what were we talking about? I just forgot. The evolution of the mind, the penny. Fuck, I hate forgetting like that. I was talking about something. How we can connect together. Anyways, whatever it is, you know what I'm going to probably do? I'm going to end this tape, make another tape, come back and listen to what happened here. And in the last tape, you'll just go over to the next tape and get it. And you know why I did it that way? Because it was very interesting, the answer. Okay, it was very, very interesting. And I hit it. I wanted to play a little game. You know what's really funny? When I started learning about what I'm doing, I want to show you something right here. Hold on. You see that little animal there with the yellow eye? He's in an egg. Look at it, he's in an egg. I drew that a few years ago, like 8 years ago, before I even thought the way I think today. Okay? And that's the way it all is. And you see the guy with the blue mouth? I call him the Mayan man. He's sitting down in yellow at the energy of Christ. You see the door in the center, the eye door? The bird. She spins around and she raises the eye and she lowers the eye, which brings in a new influx of spirit into the world. And there's my Pharaoh Anachi bird. You see the girl with the yellow hair? If you turn it sideways, I don't even know where I am with my camera. Oh, it's that way. Hey, fuck, I must be a real jerk off, eh? Oh, there it is. This way, this way, this way, this way. Something's wrong. Oh, there it is. I got it. You see the bird? There it is. The yellow-haired bird. I finally got it. Oh my God! This is insane. This is insane. I don't know why. I'm insane. Okay, so whatever chapter we were on, I was talking about 3992. I think I remember 2990. Yes, 4992. Thank God I remember. So 4992 is the amount of hours. You had the 613 laws of Moses, which broke down to 216 hours a week. Okay, or 216 hours total over 10 days, and not including, okay, the 24 hours of God, which gives the 240 hours in the 7 days a week, if you understand where I was coming about before. Now, the $50,000 of all your hours a week at minimum wage, $50,000. Oh, fuck. You're making $50,000, so now we got to pay taxes. What's taxes on $50,000? $1,000 a week, at least $300. So you're losing 15. You got $35,000 left. Okay, you got $35,000. I'm not talking about you living with anybody else. You got $35,000 left. Okay, $5,000. Oh my God, $6,000. Okay, $7,000 heat, rent, electricity, and taxes. No, isn't that what it costs? Heat, rent, electricity, and taxes. $900 a month. Times 12 months is 9,000 from 35. You're at 26,000. Let's say it's 27,000 because I didn't take off enough taxes anyways. I'm always going to leave a little bit more. So you got 27,000. Now you got a car payment, and we're going to make it small. We're going to make your car payment at $250 a month. Now you got brakes, you got repairs and tires and everything else. We're going to put a $350 with the gas, and that's cheap. $350 a month, $5,000 a year. 27,000 down to 22,000, but you've done your rent and you've done your car, so now you got $22,000 left. Well, what about the boat? The boat's nothing. Boat's $100 a month. Okay, $1,000 a year. Let's get down to $20,000. You're paying off for your boat $15,000. Not a big boat. You know what I'm saying? And obviously you're spending more gas than that because if you have a boat, you're going further up north. So let's not even count the boat. Let's just count the car and the apartment. So you got 20 grand left. Oh my God, you got to eat. It's $150 a week if you eat properly. Well, for me, that's what it is. Okay, so let's say the guy eats properly. It's $150 a week. It's $600 a month. Let's say $500, and there's also more than 28 days in a 4-week month. So let's say $500 a month. $500 a month. How much? $6,000 a year. $22,000. We're down to $16,000. So we really haven't done much yet. We have $16,000 left over. We have put every single hour to work, right? So we couldn't even use the boat anyways because we don't have any time to go anywhere because the only thing we have is to drive to work. We're paid from the minute we get up in the day till the end of the day, okay? And you got to eat. So that $16,000 leaves you over the time you go shopping, banking, taking care of the kids if you had any at all, taking care of the apartment. But all in all, that's 16 hours a week. I mean, you have to sleep 8 hours. You're not going to sleep 4 hours a day every single day because there's absolutely a life. I'm doing this based on having at least a little bit of life. So now you're left with $16,000. What's next? You don't need any clothes. Nah, no clothes, no winter clothes, no summer clothes, no windshield washer in the car. Nah, we'll never give the car a wash. We'll do the car ourselves, but if you wash it yourself, it always costs something. And who has time to wash the car anyways? Because we're always at work. So all of a sudden, that's $16,000. Okay, for miscellaneous that we're not counting, but let's say the guy's a smoker and he smokes cigarettes. Holy crap, what kind of cigarettes does he smoke? Well, let's say he smokes a 20-pack like me a day. Hypothetically, he smokes a 20-pack. It's not that I smoke one every day, it's just that it's all I'll buy. It just pushes me to stop me 5 cigarettes short. And I gave away a cigarette this morning. The guy wanted a coffee and cigarette, and I gave him a cigarette. Didn't want to buy his coffee, but offered me 50 cents for the cigarette. Pretty crazy, eh? So we got 16,000 left. But the whole thing is, why would the guy smoke? He's got 16 hours in a day and he's got to be working. Where does he find the time to smoke? Especially if he's working inside. So now he's got $16,000 and he spends $40 a week on this. 2,000 a year. So that 16,000 is now at 14,000. Okay. Now, does he take a drink of wine? Does she take a drink of wine? A couple of beers a week? Maybe he smokes a doobie. Maybe he smokes a little. I have new incense, right? I've got new incense, and this stuff here, this is not marijuana, okay? And this stuff here, this stuff alone almost cost me the same amount a week as smoking marijuana, okay? But it's not the same effect. That is what they call American seaweed. I don't know, talk to the Chinese and ask them what it is. So I always put it in that bag because I usually put it in 2-3 bags so it doesn't dry out. So now let's say you smoke that weed. $40 a week. Much, eh? Well, is it? Is it not? You know. Let's still say $40 a week. Times 52 weeks, 2,000. So from 14,000, we're down to 12,000. And wait a second, where are we going to smoke the weed? We're working 16 hours a day. Smoking on the way to work, now we're illegal. Smoking on the way home, then we're illegal. Smoke when we get up, then we're illegal. Smoke when we go to bed, we're okay. The only time we get to smoke is just before we get to bed. So then we lose the pleasure. So now we got 14,000 going down to 12,000, starting at 50,000 for somebody who stays up 5,000 hours a year. Thank God they gave us the leap year to make up for some of it. I bet you it's the leap year, the reason why man still has money. Take away the leap year over the last 25,000 years, man's broke. There's a reason why I said that. So we're at $12,000. Does he use underarm antiperspirant? We'll include the toilet paper and the cleaning utensils all in that $150 a month. So he's got $12,000. Now where can we go spend this $12,000? Is he going to buy a lottery? Nah, doesn't have the money. Is he going to go to the casino? Nah. Is he going to go with any of his friends, have a couple of drinks? He has no time. Now let's broaden this hour. Let's say you get 3 hours to yourself every single day of the year. Well, don't you know how many hours are there in a year? Do you know or do you not know how many hours there are in a year? Okay, you got to figure out there's 24 hours a day times 365.25 equals, there's 8,766 hours in the day, and divided by the 5,000 I told you equals, no, hold on a second, 5,000 divided by 8,500 equals, man is awake for actually 100% more than the hours he sleeps a week. But man also loses 24 hours to the day of prayer to God. If you want to know where I got these numbers from, man loses 24 hours a week prayer to God. Man loses 6 days a week at 8 hours a night. He loses another 48 hours to sleep. Man loses 72 hours, okay, that goes to sleep and God. And then he gets, in his other days, he gets 96 hours for it to be awake. So 96 is the Cancer sign of connection to the angel, 6-9. And God is 72, 27 or 72, whichever way you want, 72 hours, which is the 3 Trinity of the Matrix. 72, which is the gates of Beta. 27 years old, all those people who die. 2 by 7 is 14. 2 plus 7 is 9, total of 23 creation. Again, the number 23 creation. Did you get that? 2 by 7 is 14, 2 plus 7 is 9, equals 23 beta creation. The 2 and 9 are the birth. If you take away the 2 from the 7, you have the 5 passage of the birth. All the numbers will always work. It was set up that way. You look at your keyboard. If I took the 6 and put it where the 2 position was, and put the 2 where the 8 was, and the 7 where the 3 was, it wouldn't work anymore. You understand what I'm saying? If you move these numbers around, it wouldn't be the same thing anymore. It'd be a completely different code. So if you want to know something about codes, for me to jump off to this, is that when the people are making codes of the world, those secret spies, right, that's what they'll do. They'll take that whole keyboard, and instead of the A being where the A is, the A will now be somewhere else. So the word they may spell is going to spell something as a secret code. You understand? Which letter? Here's the Y. They change this Y, and I take my finger off the Y, and I'm going to take my finger off the Y. Oh, it's a U. You understand? Yu-Gi-Oh. You see? Y-G, U, Gi-Oh. U sound, Gi-Oh to finish it. U, Gi-Oh. It's all one line right here. You see this here? If you look at these three letters in a row, and this here, this would be like the dot of the I. But no, it's not the dot of the I, because the dot of the I cannot be on top of it. It has to be on another row. So the dot of the I would be the H, is the dot for the U-I-O. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's like, how can I show you this? Here's this, right? Okay, this is the way the dot is, but instead of the dot being like that, it's sitting up on the side like this, like a clam on this side. There's no dot. Now there's a dot. If you see it, there's a lot of times, everything's on an angle in this world, my friends. This whole world is crooked and upside down. We are so mixed up and backwards. The only thing that we're doing right is, thank God there's still babies. Thank God there's still good people in the world. Thank God for the good people. We are unanimous. We are unanimous. But we're not out there to have a ploy to take over the world. But it seems like we're going to have to create a ploy and have to stop those from pushing us into no more freedom. When there's no more freedom, then who cares anymore? You know what I'm saying? If somebody takes away all your rights, then who cares anymore? Who cares anymore? Who cares? We are all going to become army men. I'm one to boot. I'm an army man. I would never go to war, but I'm an army man. Because if somebody comes in here, I'm not going to give them my two arms and say, take me away. I'm going to fight my battles. But the whole thing is, that's not the way it goes. If somebody came here and put two cuffs on me, I'd let them take me away. Because it's not time yet. You know what I'm saying? It's not the time. There's a time for everything. There's a time for everything. Anyways, 9/11 for those Americans, Europeans, Asians, Russians, Africans, for everybody in the world, 9/11 was a hoax. And I think if anybody has money that is owed, I think we should take a world vote and just say the Rockefellers and whatever else, that Rothschild, whatever, that has all that money, it shouldn't even be their money because they took it from us by the means of cheating. They cheated their way all the way to their riches. And I bet you if we started taking part one company at a time of theirs, we can eventually remove most of their money, if not all of their money. Whatever amounts of money that is owed to anybody. Even if the Americans borrowed, infiltrated inside all this stuff, pushed America to waste and throw away all its money. It wasn't the people inside, it was a push. You know, when you go into court, we're all mentally deranged, so we don't get as much time in jail, or we don't go to the same jail. Well, that's what's happened to this world. We have become mentally deranged, but because we look like one another and we all seem to believe the same story, we're no longer have that mental deranged ability. We are now like each other, so I guess we're not deranged. So therefore, we can never win, because they always have one psychological thought on top of us. You understand what I'm saying? We all look like we're not, we all end up to be stupid, right? But we're stupid because they cheated us. They taught us something that wasn't true so they can do something else to make it look true. So that's cheating. That money they have is not theirs. Okay, I don't care what happens in the world, and because I'm poor, okay, I'm definitely going to go the other way. But you know what? My family's, my family is my family, and I mean, the structure of my number count right here on my head. I'm poor, but that's okay. I like my freedom. Doesn't mean much to stay poor, but if I'm poor for a reason of another's action, it's not right. You see, I'm poor because of only my action. Well, that's okay. Holy crap, I've learned how to get through the hard times for sure. You know what my hardest time was? My hardest times, you'll never believe my hardest times. Really, it has nothing to do with anybody else. It has to do with myself. I give myself the hardest time. And I don't really think it's anybody's business, but it is sort of, hey man, you think you should be doing that? Hey man, you think you should be doing that? Mind your own business. But it's the times when these people say it, they say it because what they think is the better for what. And it just gives you an angle to say, whoa, what is he talking about? Why shouldn't I do it? I have to look for a way why I shouldn't do it. So now you might be going towards the negative side of the good things you were doing and no longer do it. But then at the end, if you didn't do it and say, oh my God, it was so great, you get a high out of it without doing something. But when you do it and find out, then you got to live up to it for yourself. I knew he was right. It's okay. I'll give it another shot. Thank you very much, Raphael 7286. Russia, Russia, go, go, go. China, I'm with you. Not looking for a war. Stay out of Iran. Clean up the streets. There's something wrong. There's something. Can I tell you something? I don't think it's that hard to clean the streets of every single nation that's fighting right now. I'm quite sure there's an easy solution. But at the same time, if it has anything to do with money or oil, we have to sort of separate that. Okay? We'll work on two separate individuals because money's a big problem to everything, right? But freedom is, eventually everybody wants freedom. So that's why they turn them into suicide bombers. They think they're going to get that freedom. Of course, they know there's God. There's going to get back to the other side, and they're fighting for freedom. Freedom fighters! I want to ask you a question. Who's at war? Freedom fighters. Who's causing these people to go to war? The armies. Period. The armies. Whoever owns them, however they come to be, whatever it is. I want to make an army too. Can't I make an army? Hey guys, let's get 1 million of us and we'll all buy baseballs. We'll throw baseballs. You know, if 60 million people throw baseballs, it'd be really fucked up. You'd be buried in baseballs. You didn't have to bomb anybody. Nobody loses a limb, and baseballs are round, and it leaves air to go through. The difference between the cube and the round is the round leaves a space for gases and air. And didn't I tell you what the Big Bang was about? Big Bang is about this. You see these two things here? You see this space in here? Okay, this would make you your letter B, right? That's how you would get your letter B. It's like a video cassette. Here you got your letter V upside down. But if you take another two of them and put them here, maybe I can do it this way. You see the hole in there? Okay, that's basically what our world is all about. Okay, all these things that you see, they all turn on each other, rotating constantly. At the same time, there's no hole, but when these come together, the stop sign universe, okay, you know what happens to this? Kaboom! The Big Bang. The gases were trapped inside the cylinders of the spirals that were surrounding each other. And these spirals created every single letter in the alphabet, let me tell you. They went this way, and it was pressured to go that way and pushed to go this way. And eventually the Big Bang. And like I said, Einstein's theory of the Big Bang is Einstein showing the nations of the world how to create the atomic bomb. And all the smart people all these smart people building all these things brought the possibilities upon certain people to be able to do what they are doing today. True or false? False. None of the atomic bombs or anything and all this shit in the last 40 years was not deployed. Everything has been fought on the ground with the tanks or outfit from the oceans, and also driven around on the floor with men with machine guns and rifles, and it's really old style war, you know, still. I mean, the threat is always with the atomic bomb, but at the end, everybody knows, for some reason, I have a funny feeling, everything's on the inside saying, hey, listen, let's just always talk about the atomic bomb, but fuck it, let's never touch it because it's way too dangerous. And they all agree on it, and that's the way they advance. Nobody wants to touch the atomic bomb unless they know that those taverns that they have built beneath the ground is because they're going to explode one. on everybody. And then when it's over, they'll come right up. That's why they know what they're doing it for 10 years. It's not because of the Mayan calendar. I think they're doing it because if something doesn't fall from the sky, what they're going to do is put an illusion into the people where we're blinded for a couple hours and all of a sudden they jump that bomb and they knock half of us off. But what would they have to hide from us? They can just throw it in the air right now because slowly they have to move. Okay, they can't have all the 20 or 30,000 people that are going with this. I can't even see 20 or 30,000 people going, but anyways, they'll be going underground, and I don't think they want anybody to see, because it's not me, the home buddy who's at home right now, that's going to say anything. There's a lot of people out there that are a hell of a lot smarter than who I am and are in the right area and know what to look for when time comes. Let me tell you one thing. If there's a pirate in the ocean, everybody's looking out for the pirate. I mean, the pirate didn't go there just take over the ships. No, they bombed the people. Then they took over the ships. They were pirate ships. Same thing's going to happen now. Raphael 7286. Love is in the air. Monsanto's, take another place in the line. Farmers, it's time you win. But it's also time that watch out, because it's not all the farmers. I know farmers that own so much of the Canadian industry that they regulate their own seeds already that go into the ground. That's how big they are. Like, yeah, there's ConAgra, there's another company, BROC something H or something else. Yeah, they're all over. I know them all. I've been through the feed industry and the pork industry and the chicken industry. I've seen a cattle on the road. I have cats and dogs, and right now it's just 7286 blabbing on with a little extra time. Take care, my friends. Oh no, we're going to do this very special. What time should we mark this? At 37:15, I'm stopping this. For the reason, because 37 and 15 is the 52. That's us.